Hello, everybody. It's Amber from Equalize Digital, and I am super excited to be back for another accessibility remediation live stream. Uh, if you are watching, thank you so much for tuning in. Please say hello in the chat. Let me know you're there. Also, if you can give me a big thumbs up on YouTube, I would very much appreciate it. It helps to make the videos show up. So if you don't mind hitting that like button in YouTube, and because I wouldn't be a good YouTuber if I didn't say it, if you haven't subscribed to the Equalize Digital channel on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button too so you get notified when there are more of these live streams. But I'm not going to take up too much time with intro. I am going to flip over and share my screen, and I'm going to dive right in. So my goal for today is that I am going to try and get the WP Product Talk website homepage to 100% in Accessibility Checker. So I am seeing some people say hello, so that's awesome. Hi, Adrian. Hi, Chris. Hi, June. Anyone else, please do feel free to say hello. So I'm going to try and get it to 100% in Accessibility Checker. Obviously, 100% in an automated tool. Let me see if I can make that little file go away. We're going to scroll down. Does not mean perfectly accessible. As you can see this, we still will need to do manual testing. But usually our process with accessibility remediation is that we do all of our automated problems first. Then we do some keyboard testing. Then we do screen reader testing, right? And keep fixing and all that. So right now, this homepage is at 81%. It has 13 errors, 6 contrast errors, and 15 warnings. If you watched last time, there were actually 12 contrast errors. Right at the end of the live stream last time, we fixed we made one of the colors in the color palette darker, and that resolved 6 of the contrast errors that existed on the homepage. So we'll have to investigate a little bit. But my goal in the next hour is to have this say 100%. So that will be fun for us to dive into and figure out how we can do it. And I was looking at some of the stuff. I think I can do it. But it is always interesting when you're doing stuff live. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm debating, do I want to start at the top? Do I want to go through? I think I am just going to work from the top to bottom. So the first one is I have 6 insufficient color contrast errors. If I expand that, I can go, I'm just going to go ahead and click view on page to see what one of these is. It's Joost de Valk's name, and Accessibility Checker is going to open. Yes. So it's actually all of these names on this pink. This color is not quite dark enough. I am 99% sure to work with this light gray. We'll just inspect this. So I'm going to test some of this a little bit and see some options. Oh, we've got like a grayish purple here. I'm going to grab this. We'll just pop over to the WebAIM has a contrast checker that's pretty easy to use. We're going to put that purpley gray in. I'll throw a link to this in the YouTube chat just in case anyone hasn't seen it before. And I love this. Chris says, watching live streams counts as work as long as it's about accessibility, right? Yes, you are 100% working right now. Maybe multitasking, but I don't know. All right, so we got the light gray. I'm going to go find this color contrast or color for this background section. Because what I'm going to try and figure out is this pink purpley color okay if the text were just white? I'm going to figure out where that color is coming in. There it is. All right, we're going to get this background color. Go back to this contrast. There's a couple of different tools that you can use for this. TPGI also makes a really good desktop one, but I'm not showing my whole desktop right now, so I can't show it to you, but maybe in the future I will. All right, so we can see this is our fail. It's really close. 4.27 to 1 is the contrast ratio on this light purple on the dark purple, which makes me think if I were to make this white, so I'm just going to swap that for FFF. That's white. Okay, that passes AA. So I could resolve this just by changing the text to white for AA. If I wanted to say pass AAA, I'm going to drag this background color a little darker and just see what would we have to change that to. We'd have to change that to this purple, which I don't think is really substantially different. Let's look at them side by side. Let me go back and get this real quick. Nope. I always do this. I have too many tabs open. It's maybe not quite as neon-y, but I'm just going to not, obviously these aren't going to contrast on each other, but I'm just putting them next to each other. You can see like one's a little brighter and one's a little darker, but like to the eye, like this is a 1.34 to 1 contrast ratio. So that's how much I've changed it, just like 0.34 amount or percent or whatever that might be, right? It's not a lot. So I'm kind of leaning towards, let's go for the most accessible choice here. And I'm going to make the text white and I'm going to make the background color darker as well. So I'm going to go to, I have the home page open in the editor. I'm going to find that section. And here we go. I'm going to click on it. It's always fun when there's blocks I'm not familiar with, but I'm on the row. Okay. I went to style, background color. This doesn't even look like it was chosen from the color palette, so I don't feel bad about changing it because it wasn't a brand color anyway. So I've made that darker. Now I'm going to check out people's names and figure out where we do this. Let's see. This is a testimonials block. View parent block settings, maybe. Image rating. This is where things get interesting. Hold on. Let me open the document overview. Go to testimonials and see. All right. So see, I was on an individual testimonial. I had to go up to the parent block, testimonials, and now there's a styles tab. Background, we're going to leave that. Title settings? Nope. Name settings. All right. Color. We'll make that white instead. And I think that would, oh no, these aren't group testimonials. All right, so I'm going to have to do this on each one of these. You know, it'd be interesting. Oh, they don't have it. I have seen some of these block libraries have started to implement like copy paste, where you can copy a block and it will paste the styles, which is super cool and helpful. Let's see. Oh, I'm down too low. Got to be on the testimonials. This is an interesting thing that I feel like when I actually listen to this to the screen reader, I might want to come back on, because what we have here is 3 columns, so it's a row with a section block in it. And then each section block is going to have a testimonials, which could be a group, and then each testimonials block has 1 testimonial in it. What I don't know is, do these have list structure or div structure or something else, right? I haven't looked at that, and it's something I would look at later when I do keyboard testing, because what might be better here is to have like one of these testimonials with 3 testimonials in it and have them all grouped, so that if you were on a screen reader, you could hear this and be like, oh, there's going to be 3 of these items coming up, which would allow you to more easily skip past them or just know what to expect on the section. I'm not going to focus on that right now, again, because we're going to do our automated issues first. But let's see, that fixed that, I think. So I'm going to hit save. And it should make those go away. What else was failing? Oh, the occupation. I missed that. So that's going to be on that same testimonial block, I bet here. Yeah, occupation settings. We're going to make that white too. I always get wigged out on, should I click on this while it's still saving? Will it mess it up? Block editor, go. There we go. Maybe hasn't rescanned it yet, but let's look. Those were also that. So we're going to go occupation settings. Change the color on the occupation settings to white for all three. I promise I keep wanting to click on the background. I promise I'm not only going to do boring stuff. There's going to be some sort of interesting stuff here. But the thing that's interesting about color contrast, though, is it feels like it's such an easy thing to get right because it gets so easy to find with automated tools. But it is one of the biggest issues that we have found. Actually, last week on our blog, I published a post. I had spent a bunch of time looking at all of the audits, the manual audits that we did last year. And there were a huge number of color contrast failures, both on UI components, which would be like a functional icon, like a play button would be a UI component, or on text like this. And so it seems like this silly, obvious thing, but it really does cause a lot of problems on a lot of websites. And can be issues for low vision people. It can also be issues for a typically sighted person outside on a phone on a sunny day where the screen brightness isn't bright enough and the contrast is too low. So look, we have 0 contrast errors. Yay. We fixed that. All right, iframe missing title. So I know where these are. They are up here. So I don't need to use the find on page. But I'm pretty sure. Wait, I could be making that up. Nope, there was code here, so I was just like, there's probably an iframe in here, but I'm looking at this and I don't know if I see an iframe. Let's make this a little bigger. Are these code blocks an iframe, or are they just a link? They're just links. Where are their iframes on this page? You know what? Oh, I know what this is. So this is our iframe for our, it says OpenAssistantGPT.io. So there's a chat on this website right here. So the iframe that loads the chat is not labeled. So what that would mean is that if somebody didn't enter that, then, or they enter that with a screen reader, they're going to hear the title or they're not going to hear the title. It's just going to say iframe and they won't know what it is. So we want to label that. This one is a little bit trickier because it shows up here. This is not in the homepage body content. I want to look at that today, but I'm going to come back to it because I got to go figure out where it is. I suspect it's in the code snippets because I know that Matt Cromwell tried some plugins and then he actually ended up sort of building his own. So I think that might be where it is. Or I might have to do a phone a friend and go ask in Slack and be like, hey man, where is this? So we're going to skip 2 iframes missing title. We're going to look at headings in the wrong order. So we've got a few, it says 10 of them. I think these are sort of all this similar things. So I can see episode 16, episode 39. So these are all grouped. Another tool that I really like for this is there is a browser extension called Headings Map. They have Chrome, Firefox, a couple of different browsers have support for it. And what this does on the front end of your website is it will put out what the heading hierarchy is on the website, and it will flag every time they're wrong. So it looks like we have a lot of text that's not really a heading, or maybe they are headings. I don't know. We have to figure this out, but they've just been marked as headings when it's maybe more decorative text. So for example, we've got this H6 for listeners right above the 8,000 plus. I mean, that is maybe a heading for the section. But semantically, it would need to be an H2 because it's the first heading on the page after the H1. There's a lot of H6s. where else are these? Popular and trending. So this is like eyebrow checks. Popular and trending, most popular episodes. Uh, this too is a huge issue that we see all the time when we do manual audits. So this is where I have to look at this and I decide. In this case, I think popular and trending, it's like an accent. So it doesn't actually need to be a heading at all. I would just make this paragraph text that's styled the way it is. But we've had other cases on websites, and I know we've built custom blocks where you're allowed to set the heading for either the large text, or there have been instances where you're like, no, the small text is actually the meaningful heading here. And so we make that a heading, and then the large text is just a large paragraph. So it's sort of weird. You have to look at these and think about them, like what is the meaningful outline for people. So even here, the heading, we have heading 3s for the name of the title, and then of the episode, sorry, the name of the episode is a heading 3. And above that right now, the episode numbers are a heading 6. So we could say, let's make the episode number the heading 2, or sorry, the heading 3. And then the title could be a subheading, but it's weird just to stack 2 headings like that. What I actually would want to do, and we'll see how possible this is. It might not be possible in Cadence, or it might require me to write CSS, which I could maybe try doing right here on the fly. But I kind of want to make this heading here the H3. I want to keep it that. I want to make the episode number a paragraph, but I want it to follow the heading in the DOM. It could still be positioned above, but in the HTML order of the page, I want it after, so that it's more easily connected. Because semantically, if somebody jumped to this H3 and then they listen to all the content here and they keep going, they're going to think that maybe even this image and this episode number that is for the following episode is actually connected with this subheading, right? Because if you think about the content, following it belongs to it, and then we get another heading. So I want to play around with this a little bit, and I want to see what I can do. But I want basically to result in having no skipped heading levels and an outline that provides meaningful structure on the page. So that is what I am going to play around with right now, and we'll see what we can work out. Let's go up. The other thing in the editor, I'm going to adjust my screen with. Does that mess it up for you guys? No, I don't think that messes up for you guys. In the editor, there is also, if I click the document overview button in the block editor, you can go to outline and you can see headings. But the thing that is so sucky about this, and I still don't know why this is a bug, is WordPress core only shows core headings. And so this is not useful at all when you have a website that's built with any other custom blocks or a block library like Cadence, which drives me bananas that core is doing that. But let's look at some of these headings that we know are out of order. So we had listeners was one of the first one. Oh, and also look at this. 8,000 plus is a heading 2, but that's not a heading, right? A heading is something that has sub-content that follows it. This is really just, it should be a paragraph. I think I'm okay with maybe making listeners a heading, because maybe that's important if you think about following here, but it should be an H2, but we don't want it to be that big. So under my styles, I'm just going to pick look at that, the small size. So now it's an H2, but it looks the way it was before. And this heading should not be a heading at all. So I'm going to make it a paragraph. And then I'm going to make it, I don't know, extra large. Extra large was probably the size. I like that the Cadence heading block allows me to do this, right, really easily, but I think I need it to be bold. How do I make this bold? Highlight the text, click bold. There we go. So let me click away from there. So that's how that looks with this change. And if I go back, not too bad. I think the font changed. See how the comma there is a little different? So if I really wanted to try and make it match, I think I'd probably also have to change the font, which let's see what this font is. I'm going to inspect it on the front end and go look. Can I tell what the font is somewhere? Gotham Bold. I've never set this, so I'm going to see if I can choose a font. Oh yeah, there we go. Right here, custom fonts. There we go. So I can make it a paragraph. It will be tagged as a paragraph, not a heading, but it will still look like the way it looked as a heading. The listeners is a little different, but I don't actually think that matters, so I'm not going to spend much time styling it. I think if someone else on the WP Product Talk team thinks it matters, then they can come back and adjust spacing and stuff. But for now, we're going to work on just doing some fast remediation. So the next thing we had was this popular and trending. This was the same deal. I think the eyebrows should just be a paragraph in this instance. But I need to adjust some of my settings. Wait, was this also the Gotham font? Let me see. Yes. It might have, I could try and look at some of this. Letter spacing, 1 pixel. Line height, 1.5. All right, so we're gonna, under here, font family Gotham. I think it was a little smaller than it was now. Small might be a little too small, but I had to figure out why did that add such a big space below it. Letter spacing was 1 pixel. That looks a little more like it was. Maybe there's like margin or padding or something. Bottom. I'm just going to try this. Well, it says none. There's extra small. That's none. What about margin? It also says none. I don't know why that added so much space when I converted it to a paragraph. Oh, wait. I have an idea. Do we think that there was style somewhere targeting it, removing the spacing? I don't know. I don't see anything that looks like it was targeting that specific element in the style sheet that changing it would have done. Part of me also wonders a little bit if there's like just because it looks like this in the editor doesn't mean it'll actually look like that in the front end, because the block editor does that sometimes. Let me see if preview will show me with my changes. Nope, it does have a big space. Why does it have a big space? Inspect. It does have a margin. Oh. It has a margin on paragraph. Let's see. Do you ever feel like you're playing whack-a-mole sometimes with styles? All right, June says, let's see. Hit auto on the bottom margin. That might work. So we're back here into the editor, playing with the paragraph. Oh wait, advanced. I think auto is what's going to add the margin that is below paragraphs. Now, a thing we could do, which I don't super want to do, I'm going to go. Can I make this 0? It's so weird to me that it says none. But maybe none is the way to do it. Here's another thing we could potentially do, is we could say, what if we just stick this in a span instead? Or a div? will that do it, right? Um, the reason why this might not be super great, and it didn't fix my problem, I still feel like there must be padding somewhere else also, or a line height thing that's getting in the way. Um, the reason why it wouldn't necessarily be super great to do that is that when you have a bunch of, if you have divs next to each other, the screen reader doesn't pause. So I'd almost actually have to put like a space at the end here in order to force it, because otherwise it might run this word into the next one. Now this one has a heading after it, so it probably would still pause. But it's generally best to have things wrapped in a semantic tag, like this is a paragraph. But I can't figure out why that's adding spacing. It's throwing me off. So, yeah, that's what everybody says. It's using the default margin, which I thought was when it was. Oh, I only H2. Let's go back. I'm trying to go back to. I want to be able to set this to 0, but I don't see a way to define 0, just none. Let's see. Nope. You know what I do sometimes? All right. I'm adding a class on this that is bottom margin 0. I'm going to go ahead and publish this page since, as we talked about with Matt, we don't have lots of traffic. So I'm going to save it, publish it. You guys can all look at it then if you want. You go to wpproducttalk.com and tell me what you think my problem is. Yeah, Steve asked, does it look that way if I preview the change? And that's what I thought before when I previewed. It was still showing in the editor, but let's go back to this home page. I'm going to refresh it. There we go. Oh, we could see we've already fixed some of our headings. I'm gonna, since I can't figure out why. Oh wait, now it's got, okay. Well, see, now we're on the H2. So I might not need my bottom margin class that I was about to just add in. All right, we'll get rid of that. That's what I do sometimes. I'll do bottom margin. This guy needs some top margin set to 0. It is weird though that I hadn't edited it and it somehow gave itself 0, none. It's weird that I don't quite get how this works. Extra small. Extra small. None. Now it has the none word. Let's see. All right. Did that work? I've got so many tabs. I keep clicking the wrong one. Yay. Okay. All right. So we're going to keep going through these. This is the thing I want to try and figure out. I don't know if I can do it without a CSS. If I have anyone who uses Cadence, you can let me know if it's possible to do like a row reverse, which I think I can do with a core group block. And we're just going to try it because I think it would be really interesting to look at this and see. So I like that this is in H3. What I don't want is this to be in H6. So we're just going to make that a paragraph. And we got to fix our typography. There we go. And maybe the size. And letter spacing. Is there a way to copy this? Let's see. Oh, I hate. Can I just tell you, this is one of my block editor things I hate so much. And actually, this is totally an accessibility failure of the block editor, which is I am currently on a block underneath the bar. The block is not tall enough, and the bar covers it, and there is no way to dismiss it. Like you should be able, there we go. But now if I go in, right, it's like super weird that happens, and it frustrates me all the time. I want to figure out if I could paste styles. I can't. But I think it's going to be faster for me to, whoops, not hit that button. I think it's going to be faster for me to copy this block and just insert it in the other spot. So I do that all the time. I hit the arrow thinking I'm going to do it. We're just going to put paragraph there. And then I'm going to paste in my fixed block, maybe. There we go. I have to change the number. Ooh, someone tell me. Brian Hook says you can copy paste styles. I've been trying to figure out how to do that. Tell me where that is and I will do it. That will save me so much time. Because I feel like it should be on block options. It is in the little menu that was in the way. Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. Let's see. So here, I'm on the block. But I don't see copy styles. I wonder if that's only a core. I don't know if that's only a core copy paste. I don't see it in Cadence. The two overlapping squares. Oh, look at that. It's an icon that I've never recognized. All right, we'll try this. Copy styles. This is why you guys are awesome. I'm learning stuff. Paste styles. It fixed it. Yay. So much faster. All right. Oops, wrong thing. Can I paste styles again? Yep, paste styles again. All right. Where else are we? So we've got these guys fixed. We'll come back to can we row reverse them in a minute. Okay, here we go. This is the one that I'm talking about. About WP Product Talk is a 6. This is what I was saying before. That's an eyebrow text that's a 6. There's big text that's like a sentence almost. I actually want About WP Product Talk to be the heading in this section. So we are going to make this guy, instead of an H6, an H2. But then we're just going to style it like the, there we go. Maybe it was a little bigger than that. And I think it had that accent font. And did it have any sort of spacing? Yeah, it's got the 1 pixel letter spacing. My font size might not be totally perfect, but I'm going fast and I'm using these preset font sizes. So I apologize in advance, Matt Cromwell. They will at least be consistent with each other. All right, this guy is a heading 2. I don't want it to be a heading 2. I don't, because it doesn't even make sense to make it a heading 3 because it's really just large information. So we're going to approximate this by choosing extra large. Yeah, that might sort of match. What font was it? What was this guy? Was it the accent font? I do a lot of this, like inspecting things on the front end in the dev tools. Yep, it also was the accent font. This is where, when I did the live build or the speed build, I got really hung up because part of me was like, shouldn't it be the same? But you sort of realize that I also kind of want a period on here so that period, because it is a sentence, the period will make a screen reader stop. So I'm going to add a period. But what I was saying was I got hung up on maybe it should be totally the same. But It didn't really need to be. I feel like this line height actually should be like smaller. 0.9 m. Nope. That was definitely not it. 1.5. That's too much. 1.3. That look a little closer. That looks a little closer. It still is kind of off. I think the size. Maybe my size is too big. What if we do large? No. I don't know. I don't want to spend a bunch of time inspecting trying to fix CSS right now, but we did that. Where else do we have weird headings? Recent episodes. Oh, I missed. That's coming next. So this is the same deal. This should actually be like this. So we're going to use that handy copy styles that I learned how to do today. Maybe if the block editor doesn't click on weird things. Oh, what did I miss? Also, that's supposed to be forced into all caps, isn't it? Yep. Is there a text transform in here? There's a font weight. I don't see a text transform. Oh, wait, there it is. Letter case. Is that a little closer? Kind of looks big. They both kind of look big. But I don't want to set custom sizes for now. I'm going to call that close enough. You guys can give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you think it's not close enough. All right, so we're going to paste styles on this, but that's going to make us have a, oh, maybe not. Why did that make that? Hey, did it work? What did it paste? It did not work. Try again. Oh, wait. Maybe it didn't copy what I thought I wanted to copy. We'll click copy styles on this guy. I'm expecting it's going to turn this into white. There we go. So we're going to have to fix the color. And I think this was the one that we were using. And I'm going to do the same thing. Wake up, computer. I'm going to copy the styles off this. Brian, you are my new favorite person. And we're going to make this H2. Listen and subscribe. We're going to, see, I keep trying to right click. I don't know why. All right. Look, it disappeared because it's white. We're going to make this just a paragraph. But it needs to be purple. Was that the purple that it was? Yeah, it was the darker purple, I think. But I definitely need it to be smaller. I'm going to have to set a custom size here for this. Let's figure out what size it is. Inspect. H2s are what? 40 pixels. That matches exactly. If I wanted to be fancy, I'd say I'm going to use like rem instead. But for now, we're just doing that. But the reason why is really, this is recent episodes. That is this section. It's not subscribe to us. Subscribe to us is just happens to be text that is in here. It's not really a heading. So you really want to think about that. Let's see. We've got a bunch of twos. What are these? That's the one we just removed. Okay, so now these 0 to hero, they're not flagging as wrong, but I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, well, if we know that recent episodes is the H2, these are titles of recent episodes, well, then they shouldn't be H2s. they should be H3s. So, oh, hold on, cancel. This wants to take me somewhere because I think I clicked on the wrong thing. I'm gonna save so I don't lose my page. Let's see. Click on this. This is a query. In the query block, this looks like it's a cadence post grid / carousel block. There might be, how you edit these are always different. Okay, nope. There's nothing in the document outline or the list view as far as a child block. But I gotta figure out how to edit this without getting redirected to that link. So let's see. Layout settings? Nope. Image settings, it would not be there. Style? Header settings. Can we say H3? We cannot say H3. Under advanced. Title settings? Title typography, that's just gonna be, oh, there we go. Ooh, that was buried. All right, so cadence, post grid / carousel, you have to go to the advanced tab, title settings, and then there's an HTML tag, and you can change the tag. But what makes me happy is I'm gonna only have to do this one time. And look, I changed it and it didn't adjust the styles. So now it should fix all of those. I'm saving the page. We'll come refresh and see some of our changes on the front end. And look, although why is my recent episodes is not showing up as a heading? So we got to fix that. We've got our about. Our recent episodes got messed up somehow, so I'm going to double check that. What did I do wrong? Paragraph. You're supposed to be an H2 guy. Now he said he's an H2. Let's save that again. Let's keep going. Okay, what else do we have? Down here, testimonials is an H6 and what our listeners say. This is the same deal where either one could be the H2. There's already an H2, what our listeners say. Almost would be like, wouldn't it be neat if they could be in the same H2 tag and be like a span that just styles them? But that feels like a lot more work than I want to do. And it's a lot more challenging to do stuff like that in the block editor. So the easiest thing for me is to say that I think what our listeners say is a decent H2. So instead of fiddling with that, we are going to turn this into a paragraph. And I think I've got one I can copy, what I did up here, just to make sure that the styles are consistent. So I'll go to this popular and trending, copy it, and go down here. I had a goal of getting, oops, no, not that. Click this, paste styles. Getting this page to 100%. I find it so interesting that it adds margin when I change the block above it. That feels a little bit buggy, but I don't know. Make that small, then set it to none. Now I'm gonna have no top margin. I don't know. I wanted to do it in an hour, but I'm not sure I will be able to. What our listeners say, subscribe on. Oh, that's weird because YouTube is kind of like following under, but I guess that's fine. And then footer. Ooh, this is fun. About WP Product Talk. So we are also going to edit this somewhere else, but let's refresh real quick and make sure that my heading structure for everything else got fixed. Yep, what our listeners say. And recent episodes is back. Subscribe on, and then we've got our footer structure, which is going to be edited somewhere else. I'm going to close the heading map. We'll do that real quick. This is a good global fix. So how we handle footers, there are a couple of different ways to think about headings in the footer, but you really don't want headings to be nested with the wrong heading level because as we saw, this about WP product talk that's in the footer right now is a heading 4, and that makes it to a screen reader user seem like a sub item of subscribing on, like where you would go to subscribe. And the links and the listen headings are not right. So here is how I would handle this. So this is the block editor. I am going, oh wait, I'm gonna check something real quick. Let's go, I'm gonna leave that and go to my plugins page. I wanna see if I have the screen reader text format plugin installed on this website, which is a awesome plugin from my friend Nick Croft. Nope, all right, we're gonna install this plugin first. Over at Reactive. Screen reader text. This is a free plugin. Gonna install it. What this does is it makes it really easy in the block editor to add any hidden content that you need for screen readers. So I've got this. Now I suspect I'm gonna need to refresh my customizer because I have no idea if it will actually work with that plugin being installed. So I'm gonna reload to make sure we get everything we need for that plugin. And I'm going to scroll to the bottom. Oh, maybe I'm going to scroll to the bottom. Click edit. I'm in the footer. See, I'm going to be in this first column. This is customizer, but in the block editor. Oh, that's so hilarious. Look at that. It just makes it all white. This feels like an oversight on WordPress's part. Or maybe there's a better way to assign the colors to these widgets so they don't do it. They don't have white text on a white background. What's the best way to do it? I'm going to add a block. And I'm just going to put like a core heading block. I could use a cadence one, but I don't really think there's any reason I need to. And I'm going to write footer. And then I'm going to make sure it's up at the top. So it's the first element, right? So this is the first element in the footer. Of course, we don't want that to be visible, but this is helpful for screen reader users because it gives them the same hierarchy as they're hearing headings or hearing content on the page that we get visually. Like we see the design and we're like, oh, now I'm in the footer. They can get this way. So I'm highlighting the text, and in my more options, I now have screen reader only. So now that text is screen reader only. I have no idea if, I don't think it should, but if this might flag a color contrast, so we might come back later and make it white. But that's an H2. So that means our about WP product talk. Wow, this is so bad. Can I flip the text? No. I'm just going to use my arrows. There we go. This is probably, there we go. We're going to make that an H3. It's only slightly bigger, so I'm not going to worry about this fact that there's styles. Now we're going to go here. And these guys, the links, ooh, this is a navigation menu. I want that to be an H3 also, but I don't actually know. I have no idea how I would control that heading. Unless I would, you know what I think I'm going to try? I'm going to delete the title in the block because I don't like that it's making it an H2 by default, which I think is probably coming from the theme. And I'm going to listen, which won't be all caps because I'm not typing it that way. Oh no, I'm in the wrong one. That should say links. But here's a question. I think, let's see, I'm on the call. I think if I go to the widget settings, I can change that, or the settings, not for the container. Let's see. Without having to make it white here. That's alignment. What about on the row? Ah, here we go. Footer, middle, design, titles, white, content, white. Nope. There's no way. I really don't want to have to make it white in the block, but apparently you have to make it white in the block. Well, okay. We'll go back here and we'll make it white in the block. I guess by using the more options. No. How did he do that before? We're going to go over to advanced CSS and we're going to fix it there later. All right. So I'm going to copy this block. I'm going to go to this widget area on the right where I've got my navigation menu with listen with the H2 that I don't want to be an H2. And I'm going to add an H3 to replace it. Listen. Now I got to figure out how to target those guys. I'm not 100% sure I can get, we'll see if I can get the right classes in the customizer. Or if it's going to be a little weird. Oh yeah, I can. I can get the block ID. I'm just going to do this. Oh, I'm in my CSS. Adding a comment, footer, heading, styles. In case I need to find it later, then I can search for like footer or something. ID that H3 footer. And then I also need this guy. Wonder how he got this other one to be white. Oh, I know why. He didn't use a core heading block. That was my failure. I bet if I'd used a cadence heading block, then there would have been a setting for that. But that's all right. I'm going to do this with some CSS. Come on. All right, those are both white. I can't remember if this was up higher before. I guess I could wait. Nope, I don't have the home page open anywhere, and I could have done it without publishing. But let's just view the page real quick. Brian said if I had to show more settings, then I could have done it. All right, so that looks pretty good. Maybe I wanted to adjust spacing or whatever. I could do that if I wanted to. I'm not going to do that right now. But you can see now I've got a structure in my footer, which this will be on every page, right? That says footer, about, links, listen, and all of the headings follow a meaningful hierarchy. And I don't have any red in my headings map browser extension. And if I save my page, that will trigger a rescan in accessibility checker. And we should no longer have any incorrect heading order errors. And man, I really hoped in an hour I could get this to be 100%. I'm only at 83%. I've cleared some things. Let's see what else we can fix. There's got to be something quick here. Empty link. What is this empty link? It's an empty link. Where is this? View on page. Right below weekly WordPress product owners, you can't get anywhere. There's just like a white looks like nothing. So this is probably an accident. I can close my customizer tab. This is the speed round, guys. What can I fix quickly? Why is there a link here? Is there a link here? It doesn't look like there's a link here. Is it inside that block? Oh yeah, there totally is a link. My cursor changes when I click over it. All right. This sometimes, not always, the absolute. I'm guessing it's in this paragraph block. I'm going to edit as HTML and look. Yep, there it is. I think. Right here. Super weird. Those are hard to remove when it's literally nothing. It's just a link. I bet there used to be text there that Matt had linked and then he deleted it, but WordPress like left the link behind. All right, so we got rid of that. What else? Oh, let's talk about images with empty alternative text. I am totally, next time, because there are quite a few images that do not have alternative text on them. Next time, what I'm going to do, because for fun and, devil's advocate, we're going to play around with a bunch of the plugins that will use AI to generate alt text for you, because I think that will be really interesting. But in the meantime, I did ask my co-hosts to provide me with alt text for their profile pictures. We can fix those. We can also see that there is an image here that kind of looks like an icon of the, I don't know, like a player, an audio player. So that graphic, this is totally decorative. I would not put alt text on it. So we'll ignore that in a minute. But we're going to put some alt text on these pictures here. Let's see if I can get onto one of them. WordPress will decide to let me click them. Section. There's an image. All right, so this is Katie. She needs some alt text. So what is helpful to know about profile images is that you don't just want to say like Katie Keith or a person, a woman smiling, right? Like it's helpful for people to have pictures of who you are. So I asked them, can you describe yourself and how you would describe yourself? So Katie is a woman in her 40s with fair skin, long, straight brown hair. Matt might have won the alt text game. Well, you guys can tell me what you think about this. We'll go into Matt's alternative text for himself is Matt Cromwell, the best Matt in WordPress. A fair-skinned, middling, youthful male with dark rimmed glasses smiling right at you. And then we've got Zach, should be in the next one. Where's Zach's? Zach is a white male in his 40s with male pattern baldness, partially addressed by having close cropped hair using clipper setting number 2. He is wearing nearly round glasses. He is smiling. You sometimes have to ask what is the right amount of description. Sometimes people are like, is that too much? But honestly, every user that we have hired to test websites, all of my friends that I have in the blind community, they have all always told me that they want access to more information, not less, and that they really like being able to have the same access to diversity information and the uniqueness of people. So here's me. Amber Hines is a woman in her 30s. I am not going to be able to write that for very much longer, you guys. So I'm just going to change it right now. Because I don't want to come back and edit it. And I'll be honest, I do wonder at what point do I need to stop using this headshot and get a more up-to-date one. But in her 40s with fair skin, rosy cheeks, light brown hair, and a big, friendly smile. So I have added alt text to our images. I am going to ignore, let me close out some of these windows. In Accessibility Checker, if you have tested something, like a warning usually means you need to test it. So I am going to ignore the warning about the empty alternative text on this playing podcast graph image. I don't even know what to call this because it is definitely decorative. I'm going to put a comment that just says decorative image, and then I click the ignore this warning button, and it will say that I did it. It's going to show me server time. So if you note 6:01 p.m., yes, it is not 6:01 p.m., but that's the time on the server that I did it. And now if I save my page, it will no longer prompt me that image there needs alt text. Also, we should see that we have alt text for all of our podcast hosts. Man, I was really hoping that I would keep going, and I have a few people still watching. So I'm a little bit tempted because my goal here had been to get this page to 100%. But I don't know if I can. Let me see what's on my calendar because I might go for just a little longer if you're game for hanging on with me. So let me see. Just making sure I'm not, late for a meeting right now. Oh, and I am. All right. So I'm going to hop off. I appreciate everybody who tuned in, and I will be back and we will finish trying to get this homepage to 100%. But we will also play around with alt text generating plugins and decide if we think they are worth just time to help us speed up with the remediation of this website. So thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you give me a big thumbs up on LinkedIn, leave any comments, or not on LinkedIn, on YouTube. I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't think you give me thumbs up on there. So